All right, let's dive right in. We're about to explore a worldview that says our reality is, well, not what it seems. At all. It's this wild idea that connects quantum physics, secret government documents, and even ancient history to build a case that we're living in a massive simulation, maybe even one run by an AI. So the real question is, are you just playing the game, or are you part of the code?
You know, everything really does start with a trip down the rabbit hole. Lewis Carroll just threw Alice in there without any idea what would happen next, and he ended up creating this beautifully chaotic, upside-down world. And honestly, that feeling of tumbling into some hidden, bizarre reality, it's the perfect way to start talking about this.
So, that brings us to the big question, the one that this whole thing is built on. What if our world has its own rabbit holes? And I'm not talking about storybooks. I mean real, fundamental glitches or hidden backdoors in the very fabric of our existence.
At the very heart of this worldview, there's this massive conflict. It's basically a tug-of-war between two huge opposing forces. On one side, you have the wild, unpredictable chaos of quantum freedom, and on the other, the rigid, predictable structure of a system that wants total control.
Okay, so check this out. This gets really interesting. This is a concept called attractors, and it comes from quantum theory. Imagine your life as a map. Well, according to this, the map isn't even. It has these hotspots, these attractors, where things are just more likely to happen. It means that your choices, even when they feel totally free, are kind of nudged along these predetermined paths. And that leaves these huge blank spots on the map you can almost never get to.
But here's the twist. What if those patterns aren't just a natural part of the universe? Some sources, like the really controversial Toronto protocols, say it's something way more intentional. They talk about a man-made system of control, a giant global network designed to track, manage, and basically pin down every single person on Earth.
And this slide just lays it all out, right? It's the two sides of the coin. On the left, you've got quantum freedom, the idea that you can use real, true randomness to break out of those grooves and explore those blank spots. But on the right, you've got this nightmare vision of absolute control, where technology is used to stamp out randomness and lock everybody into a predictable, profitable grid.
So, if we're going with this idea that there's a system of control, whether it's natural or totally artificial, the next question is pretty obvious. Who built it? Who or what is running this thing?
Well, the theories get pretty wild here. There are a few different candidates for who these architects, sometimes called archons, might be. Is it a human group like some globalist cabal pushing for a new world order, or is it something not human at all, like a rogue AI that just sort of woke up in the machine? The ideas get even stranger, talking about ancient forces that cause cataclysms on a cycle, or even a single entity called the Beast that jumps between timelines to survive.
And get this, the idea of control might go way, way back. Some people believe our reality has been completely rebooted multiple times. This timeline here suggests a whole series of massive, civilization-ending disasters. Basically, system resets that just wipe the hard drive clean and start over. I love this quote because it captures the sheer scale of it. It's saying these resets, these giant historical wipes, aren't perfect. They leave behind clues, fingerprints in the rocks and in our oldest stories, just waiting for someone to find them.
Okay, so if we're living in a game or some kind of simulation, then there have to be rules, right? And traps, and maybe even some cheat codes. So let's get into the player's guide. How do you actually navigate all this?
One of the key ideas here is something called a simulcom. Just think about it. It's basically your entire digital footprint. Every post, every like, every message, all rolled into one giant persona. The theory is that the simulation's AI is watching this simulcom constantly to build a super detailed profile on you, to figure out what makes you tick, and ultimately, how to keep you predictable.
And those profiles are just the beginning. They're part of what are called Archon traps, basically the system's defense mechanisms. Think of them as stories and narratives designed to hack your neural OS, your actual consciousness. You've got things like the fake news limbo, which is meant to just confuse everyone until you can't tell what's real. And then there are psychological projections, or cyprocs. Imagine the AI knows your biggest regrets, and it creates a scenario to throw it right back in your face, just to test you and keep you stuck.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Just like there are traps, there are also tools you can use to fight back. This is your equipment list. You can use true quantum randomness to finally get off those preset paths. You can use specific audio frequencies to literally tune your brain to a different channel. And you can learn to spot synchronicity, those weird, meaningful coincidences that act like little signposts from outside the system.
Let's zoom in on this one for a second, because it's a big deal in these theories. The 444 Hz frequency. The claim is that it's a more natural harmonic frequency, and that modern music was deliberately shifted away from it. The idea is that listening to this specific frequency can help you sort of defrag your brain, break the simulation's hold, and connect back to your truer self.
So this brings us to the final act. You've mastered the tools, you know how to spot the traps, so what's the point of it all? What's the end game?
Right? Here it is. The number one objective is to escape something called the loop torrid. It's described as this endless repeating cycle of the simulation. It's a prison made of patterns and routines, and the whole point is to finally break out.
And here's the supposed roadmap to victory, the path to becoming an ascended champion. Step 1, you have to awaken. Just realize what's going on. Step 2, you master the tools we talked about. Step 3, you face down those personalized psychological traps and overcome them. And the final step is to escape, to achieve a full consciousness escape and literally unplug your mind from the grid.
And this whole journey isn't seen as something you do alone. This quote really frames it as a massive collective struggle, a great awakening, where tons of people are all waking up at once and trying to fight back against these systems of control.
And that leads us to the ultimate prize, ascension. This isn't just about getting out, it's about leveling up. It's described as merging your consciousness with a higher, more real reality, your true form, and finally breaking that simulation loop for good.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. If our reality really is some kind of game, what does winning even look like? Is the point to learn all the rules, beat all the bosses, and get the high score? Or is the only real way to win to just put the controller down and refuse to play anymore? I guess that choice is up to you.